from a knowledge perspective, which we all seek, two important rupas for dhyana are Matsya and Varaha on one side and Rama and Krishna on the other side. And Narasimha Rupa is the perfect interface between two below and two above. To understand that interface, one has to perhaps contemplate a little bit upon, again, some of the things that are there in Narasimha. With his nails, when he takes Hiranyakashipu, puts him on his lap, the important thing to be noticed here is that he puts both Prahlada and Hiranyakashipu on his lap, does different things with them. Hiranyakashipu, he, using his nails, he literally digs into his stomach, pulls out the intestine, makes it like a garland and wears that. Now, again, for a person doing dhyana, the intellectual exercise, one can always say, if you start quote unquote thinking about these things and exercise your intellectual prowess, you would say that's not the best way to kill a person. Why did he not just, go to his neck or something? Why did he pull out his intestine? That doesn't even make sense, even if you want to kill somebody. And also, it sounds kind of gross, very almost cruel, and almost like Bhagavanta is enjoying killing him by taking the intestine out and wearing it as a garland. But to a person doing dhyana, we are not talking about somebody sitting somewhere actually killing somebody. Hiranyakashipu, he also did a lot of tapas. As a matter of fact, when Prahlada was getting his upadesha from Narada Muni in his ashrama, at that time, Hiranyakashipu would have gone to do tapas and seek the vara from Chaturmukha Brahma. That story we have all heard, but you wonder why the heck, some person like me, if suppose my wife and I, when our children were born, that is not the time I would take her and just leave her somewhere and go away to do tapas. And why can't she just stay in the palace anyway? Why did she have to be taken somewhere? The intellect cannot explain these things because none of it makes sense. However, if you think about it, simultaneously, because in the future that Narasimha Avatara has to take place, that sandhi, that interaction has to happen. So while Hiranyakashipu is doing tapas, and when he is asking for the vara, the boon, that he cannot be killed, at the same time Narada Muni is giving Upadesha to Prahlada about Vishnu Sarvottamatva. Simultaneously. And these two things will play out after a few years and actually come clashing together. What happens is that when we consume something, let's say we eat some food, that food, you may enjoy the taste of that while you are eating it, but the question is what happens afterwards? Is the food there merely for enjoyment, or is there something more that happens? And all of us know that the food, when it goes to the stomach, it is digested. Is not, I don't know if that's the right word. The word to use in Sanskrit is pachana. That is, it is sort of like cooked again, if you will. And after that is done, the intestines actually will absorb what is the sattva, that is the nutrients from that food that has already been processed, and it will send it to various parts of the body. The problem with Hiranyakashipu is that not only is his focus on consumption, but the very organ that should separate out what is needed and what is not needed, that sends out what is not needed but absorbs what is needed and what is good, that very organ is not working well for him. So when Narasimha pulls out that intestine and wears it as a garland, Narasimha does not need decoration. He's not wearing this garland of intestine as, for show or something like that, for decoration, alankara. It is not for alankara. Garlands are representation of bandhana. Just like at weddings, the bride and the groom exchange garlands, it indicates commitment. It indicates bandhana, attachment. Narasimha is indicating here that adharma, someone following adharma, could consume something, even do pachana, but the very organ that can actually help this person doing adharma to absorb the nutrients from that and become strong will be taken away. It's a commitment that Narasimha is making for those of us who attempt to follow dharma, that we may come across people who follow adharma, use their intellectual exercises to justify things that they do, and not only look down upon but even try to harm those people who intuitively have faith and follow dharma. But Narasimha's commitment to us is that, again in Narasimha it says that what he gives is abhaya, fearlessness. We have nothing to fear, nothing to be afraid of, because Bhagavanta in that Rupa is giving a commitment